Financial questions, send them our way. These, we've got a couple of questions that are sort of similar. One is, we have a family lake house, but one of my brothers does not contribute anything, but he wants to use it. How do I address this with him?
Yeah.
The other one is about having friends go in on a vacation home together in Spain and sharing the cost. So the one friend says it makes sense financially, but I'm worried about what could happen in the future if our circumstances change. Do you have any advice?
So let's start with the first one.
Yeah.
Families.
It's
Am
family.
I right? Families, families, families. You can hear the subtext just dripping through. When my brother was 12, he was right. So let's remember a couple things. There's no right answer.
Okay.
You could have a situation in which the brother doesn't contribute a penny and it works fine. Because in some families, there's real income disparity. So you say, you know, you don't contribute any money, it's totally fine because you're going to do all the yard work and you're going to manage the trees or whatever you're going to do. So there's no right answer. We're not going to vilify the brother. So we're going to think about how can you contribute? You can contribute your treasure, your money to the upkeep of the cottage. You can also contribute your time. And so where I would start is a conversation, not in the peak time of this lake house, but maybe in the fall, and say, hey, I want to talk about the lake house and how we navigate that, and ideally have it with people in the family who have less of a charge with that particular family member, because it could be that this person and that person are like, not the best two people to be talking about how to navigate the lake house. So start the conversation and then think, how could we do this differently? You might have some ideas in the back of your head, because maybe this brother's actually wealthy and didn't really clock how much it was to operate the cottage. So maybe it's a simple request. The best scenario is, oh, I didn't know you needed the money. Here's a check.
Right. The conversation needs to happen, though.
Yes.
So going in on the home in Spain with a friend.
Rent first. Don't buy first.
Don't buy.
Here's why. Vacation property is, in general, not a great financial decision.
Right.
In general, I'm generalizing here. You don't use it all that much. It can be hard to maintain from abroad. There's a real risk that the housing market can go like that. And you can't research it in a way that you can research the neighborhood that you currently live in.
Yes.
So I would rent first. Rent for a couple of years. You know, life is long. The second thing is, if you say, you know what, this is great. We're going to rent together. It's great. Have an agreement.
Yes.
Have an agreement on the upkeep of the cottage. Who's going to do what? The financials of the cottage or cabin or vacation home, condo, whatever it is. The third and most important part of the agreement is the exit plan. So how long do we promise to hold for? And maybe it's 5 years, maybe it's 10, maybe it's 1. And then if one of us decides to pull the parachute, how much notice do they need to give and how does that work? I've seen it happen, and quite often the exit is an important part of it because circumstances change. So I think if you lay all that down on paper, what becomes abundantly clear is how that relationship is going to survive this kind of negotiation. If you're like, no, we're besties, it's going to be fine. No, write it down. Write it down.
Good contracts maintain good friendships and relationships.
Completely agree.
So that is such a good idea, and I would have never thought of the exit strategy.
Yeah.
That's very smart.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Bruce. He's a smart guy.